Imagine a quiet house at dusk, shadows stretching across the walls. The faint scent of rain mixes with the distant rumble of thunder. Inside, the family's quiet hum suddenly shifts. Voices rising, secrets slipping through cracks in the floorboards. Have you ever felt how fragile trust can be when someone you love reveals their true face? That ache of betrayal, sharp, icy, lingers long after the moment passes. It's a story not just of family and secrets, but of standing firm amidst chaos. When your world flips upside down, will you fold or find the strength to fight back? This is a story of resilience, of a daughter who refuses to be broken by greed and favoritism. It unfolds in the heart of a home, where love and betrayal collide, and one brave woman fights to reclaim her justice. The faint glow of twilight seeped through the cracked window, casting elongated shadows across a cluttered kitchen. The scent of burnt toast and stale coffee clung to the air, making it hard to breathe. Inside, a young girl, Samantha, knelt by the sink, her hands dirtied from chores that never felt like enough. She watched her mother, eyes tired but gentle, folding laundry with a quiet resilience that felt heavier than the weight of the world. The muffled hum of a TV from the living room played softly, a world apart from her own silent struggle. Her brother, James, oblivious, played amidst scattered toys, a stark contrast to her burdened gaze. The cold metal of the faucet slipped from her grasp as a tear traced down her cheek. Silent, resilient. She had learned to hold back the storm inside. What does it take to stand tall when everything else stumbles? When your own family, that safe place, becomes a battlefield of favoritism and secrets, she wondered. Does anyone see the tired heart beating behind her quiet exterior? This is more than a story of family. It's a fight for justice, for truth. Amidst the chaos, Samantha refuses to break. She's determined to protect what's hers, to confront injustice, even when the odds seem stacked against her. Because sometimes strength isn't loud. It's the quiet courage that keeps going, day after day, no matter the cost. Standing alone in my dimly lit bedroom, I feel the weight of memories flooding in, like waves crashing against a fragile shore. The faint scent of old textbooks mixes with the fresh breeze slipping through the cracked window, rain still lingering in the air. I see my mother's gentle smile as she hands James a shiny trophy, pride gleaming in her eyes. Meanwhile, my own awards gather dust, hidden in some forgotten corner. The distant cheer of a birthday party echoes. Laughter, gift-wrapped boxes, and James's name shining brighter than ever. The ache of being unseen settles deep, an unspoken desire to be recognized for who I am beyond the superficial. Why does his glow always outshine mine? Does anyone notice the quiet strength it takes to keep going when everyone else seems to get everything handed to them? Sometimes, the biggest victories aren't in medals or trophies. They're in standing tall amid the chaos, holding on to your sense of justice. I've learned that resilience isn't loud. It's the silent, relentless fight to stay true to yourself, even when the world tries to drown you out. Because in the end, trust is fragile, and the truth must be fought for. In this dimly lit kitchen, the aroma of burnt toast lingers, sharp, uncomfortable. Outside, rain taps against the window, a gentle yet relentless rhythm. Clutching her oversized backpack, Samantha presses her small fists against the cold table, eyes fixed on her mother's distracted face. Her mother's smile is faint, fading fast as she checks the clock, eager to retreat. Is anyone really watching? Or do they just see the quiet girl who always stays in her lane, fighting her own silent battles? The smell of burnt toast, the clatter of dishes, those sounds become her heartbeat. They echo the unspoken miles between her and her family's version of happiness. She's learned, strength isn't loud or dramatic. It's often quietly holding everything together when everything else feels like falling apart. This day, this moment, her vow deepens. She won't let injustice define her. She'll protect her integrity, fight for fairness, even if she has to walk alone. Because sometimes resilience is simply choosing to stand tall, despite the chaos around you. Flashback to softer days. Her brother James playing, his laughter lighting up the room. Yet beneath the surface, a different story waits. A cold dish of betrayal that's been cooling in the shadows of their family secrets. Samantha's heart feels heavy. What does it take to stay true when everything seems to betray you? Her mind races, confronting injustice, fighting for what's right. It's a battle rooted deep in her soul. Out in the world, the weight of her choices presses down. She's no stranger to social inequality, that quiet injustice that often goes unnoticed. She sees through the smiles, the facades. She knows her worth isn't measured by family favors or status reports. Her determination is fierce, that fire that refuses to be extinguished. The story isn't just about family, it's a fight for dignity, for truth. And no matter how hard the road, Samantha refuses to bend. Because sometimes real heroism looks like the quiet strength to keep going, day after day, even when the odds are stacked against you. When the world hesitates, she moves forward, unbreakable. That's the power of resilience, the kind that whispers, "Keep going, even when everything screams otherwise." And right now, that's the story she's living. One step at a time, she's rewriting her story from the shadows into the light. Across from them that evening, I watched the subtle shift in their eyes. My father, clearing his throat, looked down at a pile of papers as if trying to hide what he was about to say. "We have reviewed our finances," he announced, shuffling through documents that suddenly felt like weights pressing down. "We cannot contribute to your college expenses." The words slammed into me. I'd expected them, but it still cut deep. Then my mother's voice, soft yet cold, added, "We need to save for James's education. The programs he's interested in. Prestigious, expensive." Her words lingered in the air, sharp against the silence, as if budgeting was more important than my dreams. James was still 3 years away from college, yet somehow his future was already prioritized over mine. I swallowed the ache, nodding. What else could I do? To argue? To cry? That would only give them the satisfaction of breaking me further. Instead, my mind spun with questions. Practical. Cold. How do I fill out financial aid forms? What loans are available? I scribbled notes, pretending this was a business meeting, not a family betrayal. That night I revised my entire plan. I crafted a new budget, applied for every scholarship I qualified for, and hunted for part-time work near campus. By September, I was juggling 2 jobs, library hours, coffee shop weekends, all while balancing classes and homework. Sleep, maybe 5 hours a night if I was lucky. My tiny dorm became my sanctuary, a little space decorated with thrifted finds, a quiet refuge amid chaos. Alyssa, my roommate, grew worried. One night she looked at me, exhausted, at 3 a.m. after I'd just finished a shift. "You can't keep this up for 4 years," she said, concern weighty in her voice. But I knew. I had no choice. Because sometimes the real fight isn't just against the world. It's to hold on to who you are when everything outside tries to tear you apart. And that night, I realized, faith, hope, that resilience, that's what pushes you forward. Not just to survive, but to carve out your own story. Under the broken glow of a fading sunset, Samantha sits quietly in her small, cluttered room. Her hand trembles as she clutches a faded family photo, her family's smile frozen in time, yet her heart feels the weight of everything unspoken. Outside, rain begins to tap softly, blending with the scent of old paper and spilled coffee. Memories swirl. Her father's booming laughter over business deals, James's carefree bragging, her mother's gentle yet anxious smile. Can you feel it? The cracks beneath the surface of this picture-perfect family? Beneath the glamour and privilege, betrayal lurks, whispering secrets only she dares confront. She's responsible for preserving a fragile legacy, yet betrayed by her own blood. Her resolve builds, a flicker of hope amid chaos. How far can one girl go to unearth the truth? To claw her way out of injustice? Does family truly mean everything? Or does that cost too much? Her story unfolds in silence, a quiet revolution fueled by empathy and grit. How often do we wonder, what happens when the illusion cracks, when the truth stares us in the face, uninvited? Samantha's fight isn't just about inheritance. It's about integrity, about refusing to let shadows dictate her future. This isn't just a family drama. It's a mirror to a society where inequality and betrayal hide behind a veneer of success. And somehow, amid the silence, she finds her voice, louder than any scream, ready to challenge the very foundations that threaten to crumble. Samantha sat in her cramped apartment, the city noise blending into a distant hum. Outside, rain tapped gently against the window, scent of damp pavement mingling with stale coffee. She clutched an old, faded family photo. Her parents' smiles frozen in time, yet behind those smiles, secrets simmered just beneath the surface. Her father's booming voice echoing in her memory during business calls, her brother James laughing carefree, oblivious, her mother's soft, anxious reassurance. You ever feel like that picture's just a facade? Like beneath the glossy veneer of privilege and success, something darker lurks? It's as if betrayal's hiding in the shadows, whispering secrets she's desperate to shout out loud. This isn't just about inheritance, it's about integrity, about standing for what's right when everything around you tries to drown out your voice. She's fighting to unearth the truth, clawing her way through injustice, aware that family loyalty can be a tangled web, and sometimes that web's made of lies. Her resolve felt like a flickering flame, fragile yet fierce. How far can she go? Will she break free from the chains of inequality and expectation? Or will those shadows swallow her whole? This isn't just a family story. It's a mirror, reflecting a society where kindness, truth, and fairness often get lost in a world obsessed with power and status. And in that silence, there's a roar. Samantha's fight isn't just about defying her past, it's about carving out her future, about challenging the very foundations that threaten to crush her spirit. She knows the truth isn't easy to face, but she refuses to let shadows dictate her path. Instead, she chooses to find her voice, and it's louder than she ever imagined. In her heart, she wonders, what happens when the illusions shatter, when the family secrets spill out like a storm? How much is she willing to risk to reveal what's been hidden? Sometimes the only way forward is through the fire. And Samantha? She's ready to rise, unstoppable, determined, unbreakable. The night air outside is thick with rain. That sharp, clean scent of damp pavement fills the room. Samantha holds an old, worn family photo. Her parents' smiling faces frozen in time, but beneath that, shadows flicker. Her fingers tremble as she flips through fragile pages, whispers of secrets long buried. The flickering glow of a lone lamp throws ghostly shadows across the torn edges of her family portrait. Her heart pounds. Anger and sorrow clash in her chest. Just as she leans in for the next line, a sudden noise rattles the door. A footstep? The rustle of leaves? Her eyes widen. Who's out there? Is someone watching her? Or worse, about to reveal a truth that could shatter everything she's fought for? She's caught in a silent heartbeat, standing at the edge of revelation. Could this be the moment that changes everything? Or will the shadows swallow her whole before the story is told? The scent of rain lingers outside as the night clings heavy. Inside, Samantha clutches an old family photo, faded edges frayed, her fingertips trembling. Behind her eyes, a storm churns. Her parents' smiling faces freeze in time, yet shadows flicker just beneath. She gently flips through fragile pages, whispers of secrets long buried spilling into her mind. The quiet hum of a distant storm underscores her pounding heart. Anger, sorrow, and quiet defiance collide. Just as she leans in to uncover the next truth, a faint noise rattles the door. Rustling leaves, a breath of wind. Her eyes widen. Who's there? Is someone watching? Waiting? Or worse, ready to shatter her world with unveiled lies? She stands frozen, on the cusp of revelation. Could this be the moment she's been waiting for? Or will the shadows swallow her before the story's told? The room's silent, awaiting, heavy with what's hidden. The house was silent now, but inside me, chaos churned. My parents had just retreated to their room, leaving me swallowed by the quiet. A ghost in my own home. My childhood bedroom, now stripped of all teenage traces, felt like a stranger's space. James wasn't back yet, lost in his nightlife, but I couldn't sleep. The dark was heavy, the house eerily still. Deciding I needed air, I moved quietly down the staircase, careful with that old creaking third step I knew too well. Just as I reached the kitchen, two voices slipped through the silence. Hushed, tense, the front door opened softly, then closed, and I froze. James had returned. My father must have gone to meet him. I hid in the shadows of the hall, heart pounding, ears sharpened. Then I heard my father's voice, low, deliberate, with a warning tone I'd never heard before. "Samantha doesn't need to know," he murmured. "This stays between us." A chill crept down my spine. My instincts screamed to turn away, but something kept me rooted. How bad was it? I listened, barely breathing. "About $40,000 now," James admitted, voice weary. "The poker sites, credit cards, it all added up faster than I thought." My lungs clenched tight. 40,000? How? How had he racked that up, still living at home? My father's voice, gravelly with frustration. "Christ, James, your mother can't know the full amount. She thinks it's half. Just half." James sighed, desperate. "I messed up, Dad, but I've learned my lesson, I swear." Another pause, longer this time. Then my father's voice lowered, menacing. "Don't worry, we'll make your sister pay for everything." That hit me harder than a punch. I pressed against the wall, fighting the urge to scream. Samantha? How much does she suspect? James, confused, softly asking, "How?" "She has that fancy job in New York, that condo," my father continued, his voice cold. My mind spun. What secrets are buried here? What darkness hides behind these walls? I stood frozen, caught between truth and silence, trembling at what's to come. In the dim glow of the house, I froze, heart hammering. A faint rustle of papers echoed softly, like secrets slipping out of shadow. As I crept closer, a sudden glint caught my eye. A ledger, forgotten on the floor, its pages shimmering under a single overhead bulb. I hesitated, then knelt, my fingers trembling as I flipped it open. Numbers, names, cold ledgers of betrayal, accounts I'd never seen, a web of lies that spun deeper than I'd ever imagined. The faint scent of aged paper mixed with something darker, truths buried in silence. My breath hitched. Behind me, footsteps on the staircase. My eyes widened as I saw her, Samantha, standing behind me, her face a mask of shock. She looked betrayed, heartbreak etched into her features, realizing the shadows her family cast run far beyond what she believed. Her world shifts in that moment. Trust shattered, secrets exposed, her fight for fairness just beginning. The silence in the house is deafening. I creep up the stairs, each step a whisper against the worn wood. Inside the guest room, I close the door carefully, not wanting to wake anyone, though I doubt sleep is on my mind tonight. I sink onto the edge of the bed, trembling, and let what I just overheard hit me like a punch. My family, those who were supposed to protect me, are planning something ruthless. They're using me, to shoulder debts, to bail out James from his mess. Casual, confident, as if my sacrifice is their right. I think about all the late nights, the hunger I endured, the sacrifices I made to secure my future. For what? To be pawned off in some scheme? My chest tightens. For the first time, I realize hope is slipping away. Hope that maybe they'd see my worth, treat me with care. It's gone. James? He's vanished from the picture, swallowed by the web of lies they spun. I can't stay passive anymore. As I sit in darkness, mind racing, I know what I must do. Sleep isn't coming tonight. Instead, I open my laptop, start planning, strategizing. The sense of calm surprises me, clarity born from crisis. Yes, the hurt is lurking beneath, but I focus on protecting myself, on fairness. My financials are solid, but I need to act fast. The countdown has begun. Will I stay silent, or will I finally stand up? The choice hangs over me, heavy in the quiet. Who's really on the other side of that door? And what happens when I face the truth? In the dim glow of the empty family room, I stand frozen, clutching a sealed envelope. Outside, the wind howls, rain-scented air sneaking through cracked windows. My mind flashes with memories. My father's stern face, James's smug smile, my mother's worried eyes. Each moment feels like a heavy stone pressing against my chest. I know what's inside that envelope. Truths I can't ignore anymore. Should I walk into the darkness waiting beyond this door, or stay hidden in the fleeting comfort of what I've always known? I take a shaky breath, voice trembling, asking myself, if I open that door, will everything I believe fall apart? The silence presses harder. Then a soft sound, almost like a whisper. Did I hear it, or am I imagining? A choice looms. Step into the shadows or remain lost in the safety of the known. The future risks everything, but if I don't decide now, what's left? The answer lingers just beyond reach. The house was silent, shadows pooling in the corners as I grabbed my suitcase. Shoes slipped on my feet almost automatically. I slipped open the guest room door, heart pounding but steady. The hallway was shrouded in darkness, familiar enough that I could feel my way without a second thought. Every step down the staircase was deliberate, avoiding that creaky third step, the one I knew all too well. Outside, the world waited, cool air on my skin, rain-scented breeze whispering through cracked windows. I paused in the hallway, glancing back at this house that never truly felt like home. Almost certainly the last time I'd be here. A strange calm washed over me, not sadness but relief that this chapter's finally closing. I pushed the front door open, gently, quietly. My rental car sat silently awaiting me. I didn't look back. Instead, I felt the weight lift as I drove away into the night, not a single glance in the rearview mirror. I checked into a nondescript hotel 20 minutes away, an anonymous place to start my next move, a quiet haven where I could plan my escape. At 4 a.m., I finally sank into that clean, empty room, heart steady now, mind racing. I logged into my bank account, transferring most of the money into a hidden account, something none of them knew about, just enough left behind to cover my bases. Then I called my credit card company, reporting fraud attempts, requesting security measures, freezing my cards. Not many words spoken, just action. Standing at the edge, I wonder, was this really the end, or just the start of something even bigger? The hotel room felt off that morning, eerily silent, apart from the low hum of the city waking up outside. Sunlight spilled lazily over the skyline, casting jagged shadows across the scattered papers and the unopened emails on the desk. My hand trembled as I stared at the buzzing phone, relentless in its call. Did they finally crack the code? Or was this just the calm before I realized what I'd uncovered? I hesitated, heart pounding, freezing just as my eyes flicked to a new message flashing on the screen. An unknown number, urgent, cryptic. For a second, I wondered if I was imagining that cold shiver down my spine, or if this was the moment everything changed. What secret could be so dangerous? Was I ready to face it? The room's silence pressed harder, every nerve on edge. The city's noise outside faded, replaced by ghostly quiet inside. My mind ran wild with possibilities. Did I stumble onto a betrayal I can't undo? Will I be pulled further into a storm I can't control? The tension is tangible, balancing on a razor's edge. One wrong move, and everything could unravel. The clock ticks, the message blinks, and all I can wonder, what comes next? Under the soft glow of the moon, I step into the space I fought so hard to carve out, my own haven, bought with sweat and sacrifice. My hands trail over furniture I chose myself, memories of neglect and favoritism temporarily stilled by the cool night air streaming through open windows. For years, the house was a battleground of broken promises, of a family torn between love and betrayal. Tonight, I close my eyes, feeling the weight lifting as the familiar scent of leather and old wood mingle with the crisp night breeze. Tomorrow promises legal meetings, financial plans, new beginnings. But tonight, just tonight, I let myself feel everything I've suppressed. Tears blur my vision. I mourn the girl I once was, the silent hope she carried, the love she craved that was always just out of reach. Relief washes over me. Finally, the chains of their approval are broken. I sleep, freed from emotional debt, knowing that once I step back into the chaos, I will face betrayal, social injustice, and personal confrontation. But now, I am ready. I am unbreakable. And the question whispers in my mind, what's next? I was deep in the attic, digging through boxes of old letters and faded photographs. The scent of dust and rain filtering through the cracked window tingled my senses. As I sifted through a bundle of fragile papers, my hand brushed over something strange. What was that? A loose floorboard shifted beneath my fingertips, creaking softly. I paused, heart pounding. Then, with a tentative tug, I uncovered a hidden compartment, locked tight, but not for long. Inside, wrapped in brittle, yellowed paper, was a sealed envelope. No sender's name, just my name scrawled in hurried handwriting. I hesitated, then broke the wax seal. My eyes widened as I read the words. A confession from Dad. He admitted he'd been manipulating family finances, prioritizing reputation over our trust, our unity. Cold silence seeped in as I absorbed the enormity of it. Everything I believed about loyalty, betrayal, fairness, turned upside down. I felt the attic's silence echo loudly. Was this the truth? Or something more complicated? How could I have been so blindsided? My hand trembled as I realized that the stories I'd told myself were just one piece of a far darker puzzle. The air in the room grew heavy. Outside, rain began to tap softly against the roof, blending with the rustling of leaves, like whispers of secrets long buried. I looked at that letter, feeling the weight of it in my palms. Questions flooded my mind. How deep did this go? Who else was involved? Could I still trust anything? In that moment, everything changed. That sealed note shattered my assumptions, rewrote my story with brutal honesty. And suddenly, I wasn't just uncovering family secrets, I was confronting the truth that some betrayals run deeper than blood itself. The screen flickers unexpectedly, framing Samantha in sharp relief. A faint hum echoes, familiar yet unsettling, like the rustle of leaves outside on a rainy night. And then, suddenly, objects in her room subtly shift, like a curtain lifting on a hidden truth. A camera, pointed right at her family, reveals itself. Her worried face is illuminated in stark clarity. But who's watching? Who's listening? The room feels colder, shadows stretching longer. The betrayal isn't just in the words, but in the silence, the unspoken secrets lurking behind every glance. What was once just family drama deepens, twists into a game of control and trust. The very act of seeking answers has plunged her into something darker, a maze of manipulation, unfinished stories, and someone's unseen hand guiding every move. The question lingers. How much of this family, her family, is real? Or just a carefully crafted illusion watching her back? The smell of rain mixed with freshly cut grass, just like a secret trying to hide in plain sight. I remember the backyard, Samantha laughing, her father's voice promising unity and trust. That warmth, that reassurance, it all felt so real back then. But a faint rustling of leaves outside now feels like a whisper of something darker, something lurking beneath the surface. She's confronting the truth she barely dared to believe. The silence in the room stretches as her family's hidden motives are exposed, layer after layer. Her mother, caught between loyalty and shock, her brother, suddenly aware of the manipulation, her father, clinging to his ambitions, and Samantha. She stands firm, her heart pounding with a mix of anger and sadness. How often do these betrayals sneak in quietly, cloaked as care? How much of this family, this life, is just an illusion, a carefully constructed lie? Every word, every glance, a piece of a puzzle too dark to ignore. But she's no longer just a daughter caught in a web. She's fighting for her future, her voice rising in defiance. Because sometimes the biggest betrayal isn't just what's said, it's what's hidden behind the silence. The room feels still, like a storm waiting to break. Samantha's eyes burn with quiet fury, fists clenched, voice tense but steady. She just drew a hard line, cutting through years of betrayal. Outside, the city hums on, oblivious to the seismic shift inside her head. Every word, every pause, carries weight, like pieces of a puzzle sliding into place. Her heart races. She knows this isn't the end. It's only the beginning. There's a heaviness in her chest, the kind that comes with truth finally surfacing. Her family's secrets, buried under layers of loyalty and lies, are no longer hidden. And yet, something remains unresolved. The silence is thick. The game is far from over. Will she hold her ground? Or will the weight of betrayal crush her? The answers hang in the air, fragile and uncertain. What comes next? Samantha stared out the window, rain misting the glass as the distant hum of voices drifted up from downstairs. Whispers, familiar yet suddenly unsettling, curling through the house, threading suspicion into every breath. Her fists clenched involuntarily, heart pounding like a drumbeat of defiance. For years she'd played along, the responsible daughter, the one who kept the peace. But now, those whispers felt like the unraveling of everything she believed. The room was thick with silence, yet words echoed, accusations hidden beneath the veneer of family loyalty. She had always trusted her father's ambition, her mother's quiet strength. But behind closed doors, secrets festered, slithering into her life like shadowy intruders. How much of this family, this so-called legacy, is just an illusion? A carefully constructed lie? Samantha's resolve hardened. She was no longer just a bystander. She was fighting back, even as her pulse quickened. Then, just as her fingers reached for her phone, there it was, the message that could turn her world upside down. A secret wrapped in digital ink, promising truth but threatening chaos. Can she finally see what's really been hidden all along? Or will this revelation drown her in doubt? The air is heavy. The storm outside is nothing compared to the tempest surging inside her mind. This is the moment. Every word, every pause, every glance, the pieces of a puzzle too dark to ignore, sliding into place. The question lingers. Will she stand her ground, or let the weight of betrayal crush what's left of her trust? The answers hang, fragile in the silence. What's next? That's the real story waiting to unfold. In the dim glow of her childhood kitchen, Samantha's mind drifts back. The scent of worn wood mingles with spilled tea. Faint, familiar, like a ghost echo of better days. The muffled hum of the TV along with her mother's gentle but tense voice telling family stories. Pride, tradition, loyalty. But amidst the warmth, something feels off. A whispered comment she overheard once, the cold glance from her father. These memories stick, unspoken scars that shape her today. Suddenly, laughter erupts from another room. Her brother James, carefree, favored, oblivious to the weight of the world she's been carrying. Her small hand grips the edge of the table, fingers trembling. That same warmth her mother once offered now seems distant, replaced by a cold realization that under the surface, favoritism runs deep, secrets buried beneath family smiles. She questions, how much of this family's legacy is just a carefully crafted lie, and who's truly protecting whom? Her resolve hardens. She's fighting to protect her inheritance, her integrity, her truth. But now, her phone buzzes. A message, innocent on the surface yet packed with revelations that threaten to shatter everything she's believed. Can she finally see what's been hidden in the shadows? Or will the weight of betrayal drown her, leaving her drowning in doubt? The storm outside rages on, but inside, a tempest stirs. Intense, raw, unforgiving. Every word, every pause, every glance takes her closer to the truth, revealing the cracks beneath the family's veneer. The question remains, will she stand her ground, or will the dark secrets finally swallow what's left of her trust? The answers hang in the silence, delicate, fragile. Waiting. And as the rain whispers against the windows, the real story begins. In the quiet of her childhood kitchen, Samantha's patience once felt unbreakable, the scent of worn wood and spilled tea lingering like memories, faint, familiar, almost comforting. But beneath that warmth, something had shifted. She'd overheard a whisper, seen the cold glare from her father, little things that spoke volumes of a family hiding truths. Her mind flashes back, her brother James, laughing, carefree, favored, oblivious to the depths of her silent struggle. She grips the table, fingers trembling, feeling the harsh contrast. Her mother's once doting smile now distant. Everything she believed now feels like a fragile facade. How much of that family legacy is just a carefully crafted lie? Who is really protecting whom? Her resolve hardens. She's fighting to protect her inheritance, her integrity, her truth. Yet her phone buzzes, an innocent message, but beneath it, secret shadows threaten to explode her world apart. Can she finally see what's been hiding in plain sight? Or will betrayal drown her? Outside, rain whispers against the windows. Inside, a storm rages, raw, unforgiving. Each word, each glance pulls her closer to the cracks beneath the family smile. The question echoes, will she stand her ground? Or will the dark secrets swallow what's left of her trust? The silence holds them all, fragile, delicate, trembling. The real story has only just begun. The room was thick with silence, strangers sitting in a circle. It felt strange, awkward. I was a kid then, trying to admit that the ones who were supposed to love me, the ones I trusted most, had become the ones using me. I struggled to speak, heart pounding, feeling exposed. But as others began sharing, stories as raw as my own, I started to recognize the pattern. Here's what hit me. I wasn't alone. People whose families played love like a game. Conditional, transactional, cold. Aiden's parents restructured their house without telling him. Taylor's mom turned family against her when she refused to fund her lavish lifestyle. Their stories, different but eerily similar. Love, they said, was something you had to fight for. And then Taylor said something that shattered me. No matter what you do, they won't see you, won't love you. That hit deep. I'd spent years trying to earn their approval, to prove my worth, believing if I just worked harder enough I'd finally matter. But what if that was a lie? 6 months into this new chapter in San Francisco, I got an email that changed everything. My cousin Michael wrote, "James filed for bankruptcy last week. Your parents are saying they used their retirement to bail him out." Suddenly, the pieces clicked. Justice or just karma? Or maybe both. I felt a rush, vindicated yet sad. The family I'd clung to was crumbling, and somehow I was finally seeing it clear. Was this what freedom looked like? Or just the start of a new, even harder truth to face? Shadows stretch long across her dimly lit living room, flickering against her face as she stands frozen. The muffled voices echo from the hallway, heated, trembling with anger. Samantha clutches a worn, folded letter close to her chest. It's her last thread of hope, or her last weapon. The words could tear her entire world apart, her inheritance, her moral compass, her future. Outside, the rain taps softly against the window, masking the heavy silence inside. Her heart pounds, a relentless drum. Her mind races. Has her family finally uncovered her secret? Or is something even darker lurking just beyond her sight? The house feels colder now, thicker with unspoken truths. She knows her next move could shatter everything. The question hangs, will she face the storm head-on, or will betrayal drown her before she even sees it coming? The sun slips behind the trees, casting long shadows over the porch where Samantha sits, clutching that fragile, crinkled letter. Memories flicker like old film. Her grandmother's gentle lullabies drifting through the kitchen, the comforting scent of baked bread blending with vanilla perfume, the warmth of family stories on worn pages of a photo album. She traces her fingertips across the cracked vinyl, each scar a silent witness to laughter and heartbreak. The aroma of rain mingles with the past, soft, cleansing, inevitable. Suddenly, a pang hits her. How delicate family bonds are, how easily they fracture behind closed doors. Her mind spirals. What choice does she have now? The truth, the betrayal. Will she stand her ground or lose herself trying to protect what's left? Inside, the house feels colder, heavier. She knows she can't run forever. The storm is coming. Will she face it alone? Or will hidden shadows consume her before she even sees them? The kitchen is eerily silent. Samantha's hand rests on the cold surface, a marble countertop that feels almost like an anchor. Outside, the city hums softly, rain tapping a gentle rhythm, like a lullaby hiding something darker beneath. Her eyes catch that shimmer, first her own tired reflection, then something unexpected. A flicker from a hidden compartment, a secret that's been there all along. She leans closer, heart pounding against her chest. Inside, a faded, yellowed letter addressed to her father. Long forgotten, or so she thought. Her breath catches. What if this isn't just old family junk? What if it's power? The key to everything she's fought for? The betrayal by her brother, the privilege her father flaunted, they all suddenly feel like mere pieces in a much darker puzzle. The letter whispers possibilities, truths that could undo her, truths that could change everything she believes about her family. She hesitates. The weight of her choices presses in. Will uncovering this secret set her free? Or will it drown her in a storm she can't control? In that quiet, cold moment, everything hangs in the balance. The truth's siren call is impossible to ignore. Rain taps rhythmically against the window, a gentle reminder that even storms have their end. Samantha sits alone in her quiet house, the weight of the past pressing heavy behind her eyes. 3 months, a lifetime, really, since she picked up that phone for a shaky video call. A tentative crack in a house of secrets. She remembers how the silence was thick, how her heart thumped in her chest before he finally spoke. James looked different. Less polished, more her brother beneath the layers of privilege and arrogance. He shared his struggles, a modest job, slow progress on his recovery, the weight of trying to find his footing in a world that never gifted him stability. She shared her life in San Francisco, a world away from trauma, from the house she'd fought so hard to hold together. They danced around family, around truths that should have been spoken long ago. She wondered, does he see what she has seen? Does he grasp how deep the betrayal runs? When they said goodbye, no promises were made, just cautious steps. Could this patchwork of words stitch something new, or would the past rip through again? In silent moments like these, shadows stir, because beneath the surface of that fragile connection, something unseen lurks. A scar on James's hand, small, almost invisible, but enough to make her breath hitch. Was it from that night, the accident, or something darker? Her eyes narrow, heart pounding. The past's secrets seep into her mind, whispering, "Not everything is buried. Some scars never fade. They wait patiently beneath the surface, ready to surface when you least expect it." The house feels colder now, tension thick in the air. Samantha's mind races. How long before truth shatters everything? Or will she find peace in what she's uncovered? Every choice feels like walking a tightrope, balancing the need for justice against the fear of tearing everything apart. And yet, in that quiet, a flicker of resolve begins to glow. Sometimes the hardest truths are the ones that set us free, but only if we're brave enough to face them. I've learned something that hits hard. My worth never depended on whether my family saw it. The years I poured into building a career, creating a home, forging real relationships, those were mine. They proved I was resilient, strong, capable, even when the world told me I wasn't enough. Sometimes losing a family that never truly embraced you is the only way to find peace. Protecting yourself financially? It's the first step to protecting your soul. When I finished that call with James and shut my laptop, I felt nothing but quiet certainty. No joy, no fear, just the knowing that no matter what's coming, I'll be okay. I stood up for myself when no one else did. I built a life on my own terms. That's the real win. Ever had to stand up for yourself against those who should have best? How did you find the strength to set those boundaries to keep moving? Drop your story in the comments. If this echoes with you, hit like, subscribe, share. Sometimes the family we choose, the one we fight for, means more than the one we're born into. Thanks for listening. Remember, you're enough.